Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a Toronto Raptors trade video. Actually, we have game 5 later on tonight. I will be live for that, so tune in. But it's so clear. I mean, the Raps have a couple of things that they need to address. First things first, you need to get a big man. You need a big man. You need a dude 7 feet tall. Like, you just need a dude 7 feet tall. They could also use kind of like a combo guard coming off of the bench. Could use any type of bench piece. But today we have a trade, and this, I'm not a fan of this trade. I am not a fan of this trade. I would turn this trade down so unbelievably fast, but we need to talk about a couple of different things. Even if Toronto comes back from a 3-0 deficit, they're not winning the finals. Unfortunately, they're not winning the finals. There was a point in the season where I'm like, you know what, anything is possible. But realistically, with all the injuries, with everything going on, it's just not going to happen. So we have a trade here, and I hate this so much, dude. But I think it gets us to a conversation we need to have. Toronto receives CLINT, CAPELA, who I'm so not big on, Kevin Huerter, a 2023 first-round pick for OG Anunoby and Delano Banton. Now, here's the thing. There are a couple of Raptor centers that I envision they would trade for that I personally would be okay with them trading for. And that includes guys like Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, Miles Turner. I think that's like my big three where if I want the Raptors to go out and make a trade, those are kind of like the 3 players I'm eyeing. Now, we don't really know what's going to happen with the Jazz. That series is currently tied at 2-2. But let's say the Jazz lose in the first round and they're blowing it up. They're like, Mitchell, you're out of here. Rudy Gobert, you're out of here. This clearly didn't work. And so let's say you have a disgruntled star coming onto the market, like Rudy Gobert, maybe even eventually Cat, although that's a lot less unlikely, or that's a lot less likely. Well, a disgruntled star, their value is gonna be a little bit lower. It's gonna be a lot bit lower. Think of like James Harden, Ben Simmons, like they want to get out of there. I guess that was like a trade made in heaven, but think of like maybe the first James Harden trade where you have a player literally like, I want out of here, like right now, like get me out of here. Well, the issue with a trade for a big time center is you're probably going to have to give up OG Anunoby. And OG Anunoby is one of those players. I mean, I see some Raptors fans wanting to trade Siakam. I don't think anyone really wants to trade OG Anunoby. I look at this dude's contract, 4 years, $16 million. He's 24 years old. That's just so money. I can never trade this man, or I just can't imagine trading this man. This past season, 48 games, had some injuries, 17 points, 5.5 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 1.5 steals, 0.5 blocks, shooting 36% from downtown, career 37% shooter, and shooting 44.3. Now, even looking at the playoffs, we got his playoff stats here. This is like the best playoffs he's had in his career. 20.8 per game. That's awesome. Super 20.8. He's been their best player. He's been their best player the entire series. Siakam's been doing well, but literally game 4 was the one bad game OG had. 20.8 per game, 4.5 rebounds, 2.8 assists. He's shooting almost 40% at 39% from downtown. He's shooting 50% from the field. He's literally taking 15 shots per game. He's taking 15 shots. He's taking 7 threes, and he's shooting 50, 40. Is he shooting 90? No, he's shooting 75 from the free throw line. So I am in the camp of I don't want to see a trade happen. I don't want to see a trade happen quite yet. And you can play both sides here. I mean, you can play both sides. OG, obviously, like I said, you don't want to trade OG, but with the newly drafted Scotty Barnes, they play the same position, essentially. I mean, like, they essentially play the same position. The thing is, Scotty Barnes has been playing the 4 spot this year. So if you go out and you get a center, even if it's just not in a trade, you go out, you get a big time center, like somehow, some way DeAndre Ayton's like, I'm going to Toronto. What do? Because you have 6 cooks in the kitchen, and only 5 of them can cook. Do you trade away OG? Does Scotty Barnes come off the bench? Do you throw a rookie of the year onto the bench to come off there are so many things at play here. So I want to see one more year with the Raps with OG Anunoby, because especially this year's playoffs, like recency bias is taking a hold of me. Like, he's just such a good player. He's a great two-way player. He's molding into a star. And if there's some way to either find a way for OG and Scottie to coexist in the future like they did this year, or to even just get even more value for a guy like OG, that's something I'm willing to hold off for. So, I think we all know, like, Toronto's championship window, we're talking probably at least 2 years from now. So I guess there isn't necessarily a huge rush to trade away OG. Maybe you want to run it back with Precious, hope Precious kind of further develops, but who knows what's going to happen, man. It's going to be an interesting offseason for the Toronto Raptors, but most importantly, let me know down below in the comment section, would you do this trade? Do you want to trade OG? Or would you trade OG? So drop that down below, hit the like button. I'll see you guys later.